still working on the construction of the complete plan, the tree shape and the end elevation of a truncated solid, how to construct the complete plan, the tree shape and the end elevation of a truncated solid. Here now we have a square-based pyramid which is positioned as we see its base in this form. Now, this is the base of the truncated square-based pyramid, and we have the length or side of the square to be 50 millimeters. Then in the front elevation, we have that the height of the pyramid is 70 millimeters, and the cutting plane that cut off this part is at angle 30 degrees to the horizontal, and the cutting plane touch this slant line at a distance of 10 millimeters from the base. So what we are to do here is to replicate this square first, then we draw the front elevation, and then from there we do the completion of the plan. Then we also work on the construction of the tree shape and the end elevation of this truncated square pyramid. Let's go and see how this work can be done. What we are to do first is to draw a vertical center line. We draw a vertical center line, so I'm going to position the vertical center line here. So here we have the center line, the vertical center line, so being made in this form. All right, so then we have to draw a horizontal center line right now. So the horizontal center line goes as we see it here. So it goes like this. So this is the horizontal center line. Then the next thing that we are going to do is that the length or side of the square is 50 millimeters. So we are going to divide 50 by 2, and that will give us 25. So the reason is that the way this is positioned, so we need to position it like this. Okay, so let's take note of how we have the square base of the plan of the square base pyramid as we have it like this. So we take a measurement of 25 millimeters on the ruler. So this is my 25 millimeters here. So here we have this to be 25 millimeters. So you put the pinpoint here, and then we make an arc to this side. Okay, then we make an arc here to this side. So we make an arc down here, and then we make an arc here. So now, so we are going to draw a horizontal line at this point. So here we draw a horizontal line, so to this side and also to this side. Then here we come and we also draw a horizontal line to this side and also to this side. Then we have to draw a vertical line through this point. So we draw a vertical line. So through this point, we have to draw a vertical line like this through this point. So we make it a thick line at once. And then we come to this side, we also draw a vertical line like this. So from here to here. Okay. Then we have to make this line, we have to make it a thick line from here to here. And we also make this line a thick line from here to here. All right, so here we have the square base of the pyramid. So next that we are going to do is to draw the front elevation. So we come up a little bit, okay, and then we draw a horizontal line like this. And then, so the next thing that we are going to do, let us number this point on the square. So if this point is 0.1 and this is 0.2, so here is 0.3, okay, and this is 0.4. So what we are to do now is that we are going to extend this vertical line to touch the horizontal line, so it goes like this. And we come to this side, we also extend this to touch the horizontal line. Then we take a measurement of 70 millimeters here. Okay, so this is 70 millimeters. So let's take 10 from here up, okay, because we are going to use it. So then we are going to connect this point, which is for 1 and 2. So we connect them together with the apex of the pyramid. So it goes like this. And then we also connect this point, which is for 3 and 4. So we connect it to the apex of the pyramid. So we connect it like this. Okay, so we have this now. Now, so the next thing that we are going to do, so we need to cut off the part that has been cut off by the cutting plane. So we need to draw the cutting plane. And to do that, we have to This 10 millimeters that we took up on the center line, so we have to mark it here. So the cutting plane is inclined at an angle 30 degree to the horizontal. So I have to bring my 30-degree set square here to draw the cutting plane. So, and this is how it will be. So it goes like this. All right, so here we have the cutting plane as you see it here. So this part is cut off. So we now need to make this line. So we make it a thick line from here to here, okay? Then we also make this line a thick line from here to here, and the baseline, we also make it a thick line from here to this end. So we have this now. All right, so having done that, the next thing that we are going to do is that we need to connect this corner and this corner. So we need to connect them together. So this point 1 and or corner 1 and corner 2 of the square. So we connect them together, and then we also connect corner 2 and 4. So we connect them together like this. So we join these 2 points together. So we have this now. All right, so we now need to draw the complete plan. So this is taken off. So we are going to see a rough surface here, which has to be shown in the plan. So to now show that roughness in the plan, so this line contains 1 and 2. So as we have point 1 here, point 2 here, so this line is meant for both 1 and 2. So what we have to do now is that we are going to draw a vertical line from this point, okay? So we draw a vertical line from this point. So, and it goes like this, okay? So if you look at this line, it touches 1 at this point, okay? And it touches 2 at this point. So we are taking note of that point. Then we come for this line. This line contains 3 and 4. So we are going to come to this point also and draw a vertical line from this point. So draw a vertical line from this point here. So it goes like this. Okay, so here we have this point for 3, and this point here is for 4. So let's take note of the shape that we obtained here based on how the cutting plane is placed on the solid. So let's take note of the shape that we are going to have here. Please pay attention. So now what we have to do now is that we are connecting this point together. So we connect this point together. So connect these 2 points together, and then we also connect these 2 points. We connect them together. So connect them together like this, okay? And then these 2 points, we connect them together, making it a thick line from here to here. And we also connect this together, making it a thick line from here to here. So this short line, so we need to make it a thick line because they represent the slant side of the pyramid. So we need to make this line a thick line, and we also make this a thick line from here to here, and then we make this a thick line from here to here. So we have this. All right, so then to now show the roughness of this cut part on this surface, we need to hash this shape that we have here. But before that, I want us to label this shape. So let's call this as point A, and this is point B, and then we have this point to be point C, and this point is point D. Let's take note of that. So with the 45-degree set square, so we are going to hash this surface. So with my 45-degree set square, so I come to this point. So we draw hatching lines. So hatching lines are drawn with thin continuous line, and they are to be equally spaced. So we usually draw it using the 45-degree set square as I'm doing it here. It's very simple, okay? So we make sure we have equal space as we can see it here right now, okay? All right, so here we have the complete plan. Now let's go and draw the true shape of the cut surface. True shape of the cut surface. For us to draw the true shape of the cut surface, we are going to draw a line at this point and also at this point that will be at a right angle to the cutting plane. So if we have drawn the cutting plane with 30-degree set square, so we need to make use of the 60-degree side of the 30 by 60-degree set square to draw the line. So we come to this point because 30 plus 60 will give us 90. So we need to draw this line here with 30-degree set square. And we come to this point here. So we also draw with 30-degree set square like this. And then, so we have to draw a line parallel to this cutting plane at any convenient distance away from the given elevation. So we draw a line like this, okay? So this line represents this middle line that is in between A and B. and then C and D. So let's take note of that. Okay, so that is the line that we have here. Okay, this line is also the same as this line that we have here. So it's a line in the middle of A and B and C and D. Okay, so what we have to do now to locate this point here where we are going to put the true shape. So we need to take the compass, and then we put the pin or the compass at the midpoint of A and B here, and we extend to A or we extend to B. So we take this distance, then we bring it to this point here. So bring it to this point, okay? So we make an arc here, and then we make an arc up here. So here we have this. So this point here, so this particular point that we have here, this is point B, okay? While this is point A here. So let's take note of that, okay? All right, so then we also move from here. So this is point A. So then we come for that of C and D. So this is the midpoint of C and D. So extend the pen point to point D or point C, anyone that you like. Okay, so take this distance. Okay, then we come to this point. Okay, this is going to be the midpoint of C and D. So make an arc here and also make an arc here. So this point is point C as we have it here, while this point is point D. So let's take note of that. So what we have to do now is join this point together. So we connect point C and B together, or B and C together, and we also connect point A and D. So we connect them together with a straight line like this, and then so we make this line a thick line from here to here, and we also make this line a thick line from here to here. So then we are to hash this surface to show that this is rough as we see it here on this surface. So this is going to be the true shape of the cut surface. So we come up with the 45 degrees set square. So I'm going to draw the arching lines. So arching lines are drawn within continuous line, and the lines are to be equally spaced as I'm doing it here right now. So we also move down here. So we draw this line. So we come here and we also draw this line, and then so we can now draw this finally. Okay, so we have this. This is the true shape. So let us put it here that this is the true shape. So here we have the true shape of the cut surface as we see it here right now. Now the next thing that we are going to do is to draw the end elevation. We have to draw the end elevation. That is the next thing that you want to do. So to draw the end elevation, so this is what we need to do, because these views are being drawn in orthographic projection, actually first angle projection. So we come to this point and we draw a horizontal line in this direction. Then we come to the center here. So we come to the center here. So we draw a line in this direction. So we come to this point here. We draw a horizontal line in this direction. So we come to this point. Okay, we extend this horizontal line. Then we come to this point, which is for 3 and 4. So we draw horizontal line in this direction. So we come here also. So we draw horizontal line in this direction, which is for 1 and 2. So let's draw a line from the apex of the pyramid in this direction. So we have this now. So what we have to do now, we have to take the 45 degrees set square. Take the 45 degrees set square. So we set it at this point on the front elevation. So this is how to set it. So set like this at this point on the front elevation, and then draw a line in this direction. So what we have to do right now is that we are going to draw a vertical line. So if you look at this line contains point 2 and 3. It contains 2 and 3. So, but before that, I want us to draw the center line. So let's draw the center line. So this is the center line. So take it up like this, okay? Take it up as a center line. So we have this. All right, so we have this now. So now, so we come to this point here. So we have to draw this line and to touch this baseline. So we come to this point, setting the set square like this, and then we draw a vertical line, touching the baseline at this point. So this point is for 2 and then 3. So we have this now. Next, we have what to come up here. This is for what? This is for 1 and 4. So we have to also draw a vertical line here to touch the baseline. So this is for 1 and then for 4. So let's take note of that. All right, so what we have to do now is that we are going to connect this point. So we connect together with the apex, so it goes like this. We connect together with the apex, so it goes like this. And also we connect this point together with the apex and it goes like this. So we have this now. So let's locate, sorry. Oh, okay, sorry. This is the point, this is the point. This is the point and not here. So this is not supposed to be there. Okay. All right, so this is not supposed to be there. So this is our point. This is point 2 and point 3. So this is not the point because this is the base. Okay, so I can't clean this now. All right, so let's locate the point. So look at what we have here. So here we have what? Here we have 1. So we have 1 here. Okay, so where do we have 1? We have 1 at this point. So this point here will be point 1. So this will be point 1. This is point 1 here. We have point 1 here. And then, so where do we have point 4? So where do we have point, okay, let's get point 2 first. So point 2, where do we have point 2? We have point 2 along this line. So this is point 2 here. So here is point 2. Okay. Then where do we have point 3? We have 3 and 4 here. So this is point 3. So this is point 3. And then this point here is point 4. So we join them together. So we join this point together like this. So make this a thick line. That's 3 and 4. Make 1 and 2 also a thick line from here to here. And then so we make this line a thick line. So this will be a thick line all to this baseline. And this also will be a thick line all to this baseline. And then we are going to make this line, we make it a thick line from here to here. All right, so then what we are left with is to produce action lines on this surface. Okay, so we produce action lines on this surface because when we are looking at it in this direction, we see the roughness of this shape. So that is why we need to produce action lines on this surface. So that is what I'm doing right now. So action lines are drawn within continuous line and they are equally spaced, usually drawn with 45 degrees square as I'm doing it here. All right, so this is the end elevation and we have been able to draw the complete plan, the true shape and the end elevation of this truncated square-based pyramid. Thank you and God bless you.